Hey candle friends, welcome back to the channel. Or if you're new here, hi, I'm Ashley. I'm the owner of Mrs. Frizz & Co., a small batch candle company located in the beautiful Ontario, Canada. On this channel, we talk about everything from making candles and like products to a behind the scenes look at owning your own small handcrafted brand. So if that is something that interests you, I would love for you to hit subscribe and stick around. Today's video has been requested a few times now, so I thought we should really get into it. As you could probably tell from the thumbnail, I'm going to talk about how I price my candles and still make a profit. Today, I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty dollar for dollar amount. If you're interested in what I charge for my products, feel free to go look at my website. The point of today's video is to go over the strategy that I use, especially balancing high margin and low margin products to keep my company sustainable. So if this is something that interests you, I would love for you to stick around. Let's get into it. Okay, let's start with the basics. I know a lot of people recommend multiplying your cost of goods by 3 or 4 to get your retail price. We've all heard the classic method of double your cost is wholesale and then multiply your cost by 3 or 4 to get your retail value. I'm going to be honest, I hate this method. It never worked for me, especially when you consider overhead, branding, shipping supplies, and trying to build a cohesive brand. When I first started, this is the method that I used, probably like a lot of you. There was so many times where I was selling products for way less than I could have because they were very inexpensive for me to make. And then there was times where I had products sitting because they were so overpriced because again, I was just starting and I wasn't buying pallets of materials yet. My costs were pretty high. When you're first starting out and you're ordering supplies from say Amazon or maybe wholesalers, but you're ordering a few boxes at a time to see what moves, it's expensive. You need to be ordering in bulk quantities to get bulk discounts. And the whole multiplying by 2 or multiplying by 3 and 4 just was not an effective strategy for me. So instead of starting with my costs, I actually work backwards. I figure out what I want my retail price to be first. I base this off of perceived value for the product, what feels right and in line with my brand, and most importantly, what is my ideal customer going to be willing to pay? Then I can charge 50% of that price for wholesale. This gives me a lot more control over my business, and it allows me to design products that are both profitable and aligned with my branding. I shoot for around 85% profit margin. That's before overhead. So once I've subtracted my expenses for my website, softwares that I use, market booth setups, packaging, I'm usually left with around 78% margin overall. And that's been a really comfortable spot for me. So with the way that I price my products, I'm assuming that I'm going to sell a specific amount of a specific product. It's not just good vibes over here at Mrs. Frizz & Co. It is also a lot of math. Some of my items have much higher profit margins than others, and those actually help balance out the lower profit margin items. For example, curated boxes or limited edition candles that are in really expensive vessels. When my sales go as planned, the margins balance each other out. We're good. But there has absolutely been times where I have sold more of my lower profit margin products. And because of that, my profit is lower than expected. And then other times I have sold more of my higher profit margin products and life is good. But if this type of fluctuation stresses you out or you need to hit the same margin every time, this probably wouldn't be the right model for you. For me, it keeps my business sustainable. It's the best way for me to price my products in a way that resonates with my clients and keeps my business flexible. If this kind of fluctuation stresses you out or you need to hit the same margin every time, this model probably isn't right for you. But for me, it's the most sustainable way to price my products in a way that resonates with my customers and keeps my business flexible. So, like I've said, not every product in your business needs to have the same profit margin. Some products are going to be margin builders. These are going to be your products that are easy to make, cost effective, and have a strong profit. Your hero products. These are going to help support the more expensive stuff. Um, the more expensive stuff are your margin fillers, and they might be lower profit, but they serve another purpose. So, for example, my curated boxes, they build brand buzz. They are a great way to introduce people to my product line. And they're big sellers at Christmas, but they're definitely a little more expensive to produce because of the packaging that I use. Seasonal releases, they get people excited. They keep my product line fresh. They keep me from going crazy and always making the same scents over and over again. But I'm not typically buying 500 plus of the vessels for them. So obviously, I'm going to pay more for them than I would for, say, my signature collection. And then any kind of samplers that you offer. I mean, I have done like wax melt samplers, 4-ounce candle samplers. These are not big money makers, but they're a great way to introduce people to your product line. When you think about pricing like this, when you think about pricing as your entire full lineup, it becomes a little bit easier to strategize and to play the long game. You need to know what those hero products of yours are, where you are making the higher margins, and try and keep them selling as consistently as possible. And that will give you the flexibility to play around with these other margin filler products. And that's what's also going to keep you sane and happy and loving what you do. If you're wondering what good profit margins look like, here's a really quick reference. 70 to 90% gross profit margin is considered great for a handmade candle company. 60 to 70% net profit margin is considered solid. Personally, I strive for 85% gross, and after I subtract my overheads, I'm usually looking at around 78% net, which is solid, and it gives me room for growth, creativity, and sanity. It also lets me say yes to wholesale when it's the right fit. It allows me to offer sales and product bundles without too much stress. I can make product donations where it works for me. And most importantly, and I don't hear people talk about this enough, it allows me to pay myself like a human. The world is so expensive right now. And I know everybody says when you start a small company or a small business, maybe this might be too general, but I mean, I hear it so much in the when you start a small handmade business, there's no profit for the first X amount of years. I'm here to tell you that is inaccurate. Depending on the amount of time you are willing to put into your craft, you should make money. I have always made money with my business. And I don't know why you shouldn't either. I understand it's a labor of love. And yes, we might work extra hours and not necessarily compensate ourselves for it. I know that when my kids go to bed, I bring my laptop to bed with me and I will putter away with my website or my socials or whatever for a while. And I'm not giving myself an hourly wage for that. But you better believe when I'm at a market, when I am producing, I am paying myself for that. And this profit margin allows for that. I hope today's video gave you some ideas or at least some validation for your own pricing strategy. I would love to know in the comments below. Do you use a model like this? Was this new for you? What's your pricing strategy? Also, if you want me to do like a follow-up of how exactly I price my products, or even how I price like bundles or market baskets, let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this helpful. And if you did, please feel free to hit like and subscribe and come back for the next one. And until then, I will see you later. Bye, candle friends.